Welcome. It's an unscheduled live. Can you believe that?
Yeah, no.
On a Saturday. So I don't know if we're going to do a live on Sunday or not. So we thought, what the heck, let's not put a video out today. Let's talk a little bit about what we're doing, what's happening here, and where it's all going. So let me get up on our Facebook pages here so we can see who get everybody on.
What we wanted to do is let you know that there's going to be a couple bikes that he's going to talk about that sold, and we're going to let you know how much they sold for. One was that motorcycle that was in a crate. He'll tell you a little bit about that and why he's a little upset about that. And then the other one was the Fields of Hold, a bike that went for a donation for the Fields of Hold. So that was kind of neat to watch that. And the gentleman bought the bike, and we kind of got down. He'll be on a video coming up soon. We'll give you some information on all that stuff. This is the last day of the auction. It's been very fun, very exciting. We've met a lot of different people. We're actually at Hall Mike's booth right now. They've let us sit here so we can do a live for you guys. If you can hear, I don't know if you can hear the auctioneers going off. They're still got some great bikes coming up. Don't know how long it'll go today. I got a sheet. I don't know if I've got Saturday sheet here or not. Last night probably went pretty late. They had almost 400 bikes. It was like 398 bikes or 96 bikes. There was a lot of bikes yesterday. One bike that we missed, that bike that was in a crate, and we didn't really get to see that. This is Wednesday, so that's not going to help me very much. But we'll see all the different things that's coming up. Then this morning we went to a bike show. We'll have a video coming up on that. That was awesome. That was at the dealership on Strip. It was, the promoter was a little disappointed because the show was in the back, so you can't see it from the Strip. And when we pulled up, I was thinking, man, there's not a lot of people here. But there was more people in the back, and it was behind the dealership. And they don't really have a marquee or anything where they can notify people of, like, if they're having an event going on and it's in back and come on back. Didn't see any place where there was going to be a band set up. It's called, the promoter that put it on is called Motorcycles and Coffee. And his name is Andy. And this is the West Coast finals for the bike show, and there's a lot of cool bikes there. Like I said, we will show you some of those bikes in a video coming up probably next week. Whitey's on. Hi, Whitey. How are you? Bring you up here. There you go. But we're still at the Mecum auction. We'll probably be here for a little while today. I don't know if we'll stay for the full day. Got some other things to do. There's a few subscribers here that we've met up with, and we might hang out with them tonight and maybe a little bit tomorrow because they're not leaving until Monday. So they won't stay out too late Saturday night or Sunday night, I don't think, because they leave bright and early on Monday morning. Hello, Cowboy Adventures is on. Hi there. How are you? Janice is on. She made it. I didn't know if you got notified or not. I figured if anybody's going to come on, Janice will be there for us. Like I said, we're at the Hall Bikes booth here. A little bit busier here today than there have been in the past because they are a lot of people. I would think I would if I was thinking I was going to buy some motorcycles, didn't know what I was going to buy, and waited till the last day probably to. So they'd all meet together. And I asked them about that the other day here at Home Bikes, and they said, no, if you buy a bike on Wednesday and you don't buy another bike on Friday, you can come after each day. There's Mike. How you doing, Mike? That's the Country Garage. Go check out his channel. But they said, no, they said you can wait and do them all at one time. But I guess what they do is if you come in and let's say you weren't really planning on buying another bike and you bought another bike today and you bought one Thursday, you can come in and I guess they just add that to the order so it kind of links up with it. So you don't have to do all the bikes at once. They said sometimes it's easier, but your bike will still get to you. Just because they'll just be linked together with those two bikes. So we've been having a good time. There's Chad. How you doing, Chad? I don't know why I'm hitting that because I've got it right here too. But we've had a good time. The weather's been a little chilly. It's supposed to be really nice this next week coming up in the 70s. And I think they even said Monday, I thought I heard 80s. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if it really hits the 80s. So what have you been doing?
Trying to get all the phones because I'm using my phone, which I normally don't use for a live. Usually use her phone, and I couldn't get in on all the Facebook pages because I've tried to use our new vet bike phone, and there is no Facebook on that one, and so it doesn't go anywhere. Then when I tried to log in on my account, it said you wanted to verify it through this phone, and then I'd have to take it off on the email. So none of that worked. So it was a little. So hopefully, I don't know. If
Populated.
we are on the Pating side. We're also on the Sturgis one. I went ahead and do Sturgis in there, and then one of the bobbin cams, which I don't know which one it's in, is, but it's on that one. That's it. One of the other bobbin cams, it's not on. I don't know which one. And sorry, if you see it, if it's not where you're at, or you want to go and check them from your phone, go ahead and link this to it so those people can get on. So put it on about Sturgis too, because you might want to come here and buy a bike before Sturgis and have it for Sturgis.
Yeah.
So we'll talk a little bit about Sturgis too.
It's for the Haul Bikes booth, and they can haul your bike out to Sturgis.
Anywhere in the continental U.S., they can get your bike to Sturgis on time.
Lord.
And it's insured. It's all they do. We're going to have a video come up here. Actually, I'm going to have one tomorrow morning, more for the people here, because all bikes have to be picked up by 5 p.m. on Monday, or we're picking them up for free, and you have to send me the title. No, I don't know what they're doing. They actually send them to the All Bikes warehouse, but then you might end up with a lot of trouble, because if it's, I don't know what ends up happening. Maybe you can go down there and just see the girl. If somebody hadn't paid for the bike yet, what happens to it? Do they still
One's over
haul it?
there or over here?
Well, here. So
Okay.
if the after 5 o'clock on Monday, if somebody hasn't paid for their bike, would you still pick it up and take it to the warehouse? Okay, so yes. So Haul Bikes would end up with your bike. So she's sitting across from us. She didn't want to talk on camera because she's got to think about what she wants to say. So she just nodded. So you got the nod.
You got it from the straight from the horse's mouth. The top guy,
Top girl.
top lady.
And so if you're, and that video is going to explain all that on tomorrow morning, because nobody's going to be here. So they're still here. They're out back loading bikes up and stuff like that. So where you can still go online, you can contact me through phone numbers, their emails, and we'll put all that on that video so you can get a hold of them. If you're here today, they're here all day today till the auction is over.
See, or just me, because we're both using the same mic.
What are they saying?
They said it sounds like I have an echo. You might be hearing the auctioneers, because I'm.
We may have to spin around. I don't know if it's that bad.
Well, she just said me, not you, so I don't know. Interesting question. Oh. All right. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. We're going to see how the audio is, and if we need to spin around, and if it's me echoing, or if it's just kind of the. If it's the auctioneers you can hear, does it sound okay?
You don't need to talk so loud. Oh, wow. So that may be part of the problem, because she was talking really loud. This microphone's more, this is the microphone I normally don't use, but for videos, because it's a boom mic. But I found out on my other mic, we've had these since we started. And what happens is sometimes this little back gets loose, and when it fell out, and one of the wires came off. So it might have been that it was trying to send it through this mic, and it was trying to send it through the phone, and that's why we had so much issues these last few. Now, last video we did this. And so, I don't know. Time to probably buy some new mics. And see how that goes.
Wayne, I don't know why I keep doing that. It's right here.
I don't know.
Hey, Wayne. I didn't see what Lone Star Cowboy said. I put it up.
So, for our veteran bike builds, we're going to have to raise some money. So we're going to come next year and buy some bikes to give the veterans. They had a lot of bikes here that sold for $1,500, which would have been excellent bikes for, what are they listening to?
They wanted to know where the boom mic was to where the auctioneers were. He thought it was facing them, and it's not.
It's kind of at an angle. So if it's echoing, we could move it. We could let us move it, and we'll try it and see what happens. Oh, this way. Now you got to move over here. All right, we'll try it from here and let us know if this sounds better. And she gets in the picture.
But now we don't have the whole box thing on right now.
This is the beginning.
But you guys know that we're here.
At All Bikes.
That's right.
So if you're in the area and you want to stop by and say hi, we're here. Still kind of neat. Does it still sound weird? Let us know if it still sounds weird. We could move around a little farther that way. They just have a table here, so it kind of makes it nice.
Well, and then in the bar, sometimes it gets a little smoky in there. We don't do well with smoke.
Yeah, we don't do very good smoking without actually smoking.
We
But
don't
we could go
smoke.
in there if maybe we'll bounce over there halfway through this.
Lone Star says that's good.
So we're only looking to maybe stay on about
Sounds
an
good
hour. So we'll see how this all works out. So glad that sounds better now. Didn't see. Well, so you'll get a preview of my video coming up in the next day or two. I showed you that bike that was in a crate.
We thought it was going to be auctioned off on Saturday today.
So it was a 94 Road King. 1 mile on it, 1.5 miles on it. I don't know if it's been started or anything like that. I really wasn't worried about that. So it's 32-year-old bike, brand new, still in the crate. It had the windshield still in the box that it came in. I was interested in it because I had no idea what they were going to sell for. I thought $30,000 would probably go for. I wasn't going to pay that kind of money for it. And so the gentleman one of our subscribers was here, I was going to use his bid card to bid on it if we decided to get it. But I didn't think it was going to go. I just want to see, more curious what it was going to go for. Well, this thing sold for less.
Well, wait, you got to tell them the story. So we thought it was going to be auctioned off today. So we were going to say, because it was one of the last bikes that went up on auction. So we were going to wait till the whole darn day today. It's the second to last bike to go on. And the subscriber we're with, Chris, said, that bike in a crate's got a sold sign on it. And I'm like, no way. How?
Well, I'd already been down there earlier in the day. This was Friday. And I seen that they had moved the crate all the way to the other side where they have the bids for that didn't go through. And I looked at it, I'm like, why did they move it over here? People can't see it.
No reserve.
So no, it was no reserve. So I looked on it and there was no sold sticker on it. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Maybe it was in the way and they moved it. I don't know. We'll wait till Saturday and see what happens. So then he said there was a sold sticker on it. So then I thought, I'm going to go down there and look at this thing. Maybe somebody called the owner up and said, I'll give you $100,000 for the bike. And the guy said, sure, take it. And so I seen a sold sticker on it. So then I came back up here to the office and I said, hey, and then I seen it had a T on it, which stood for Thursday.
So the bike went up for auction Thursday, but it was still one of the last bikes of the day.
Well, we ended up having to go. We got a new, by having a business account now for the bike builds that our YouTube channel is paying for. They had a hotspot for only $45 a month. And we thought, I've been having so much trouble trying to upload videos with these hotels. It's taking all night. And I'd like to go to sleep and know my video's done instead of looking at it all night long.
To see if it's done.
And because sometimes if it stops, it lost connection or whatever. So we picked that up. We never came back. And because
we left early on.
We left at 4 o'clock. And so it probably was about 100 bikes still left to go. So I ended up going over here to the office. And I said, hey, we're Bob and Cam. And I said, I was videotaping this thing. And can you tell me what this bike sold for? She said, well, all I can tell you what the total price was with the fees and everything.
Everything.
I'm like, that's fine. She says, $12,650. And right then, my heart fell out of my body. So it basically sold, well, one of the other guys said he went online and seen it sold for $12,000. Still, I would have gave $15,000 for that bike. And so I was down there talking about it. I put it on the video telling you what the price is. I estimated the price was about $11,000. They couldn't tell me the exact price. I said I wasn't going to recalculate the fees and all that kind of stuff. So I said it probably sold for around $11,000. The girl said, yeah, probably. So I went down and did it. A bunch of people walked up and I said, did you buy the bike? And they're like, no. Did you own the bike? No. And a couple people said, one guy said, well, I'd be afraid of buying that because it's been sitting all that time. You don't know if it would start or not, or if the motor's ruined. I said, well, really, all you do is you pull the primary cover off and you crank up the oil pump on it and pump all the oil through it and everything. I would do that, get everything, the valve, the lifters and all that, get the lifters all pumped up and get oil through it. And then I would tap the key to see if the pistons are going up. Because the only problem I would say that would happen to that engine, number one, could be that the rings could seize to the sides of the piston or to the side of the cylinder walls. Other thing is the seats could go bad. The valve seats could go bad. But other than that, I don't think anything else could happen. I don't think it would be rusty in the motor or anything like that. I just don't think there'd be moisture or anything in it because it got 1 mile on it. So it really wasn't. It was driven from the factory probably out to the truck or whatever they do for. I went to a Corvette factory in St. Louis at one time when I was in Boy Scouts, and what they would do with the Corvettes, they started them up on the line, and they drive it out the parking lot about a couple 100 feet, and they locked the brakes up and did donuts with it, and then they parked it. So same thing with Harley. Probably when it gets off the assembly line, they start it up, make sure it runs, drive it 1 mile, and park wherever that's at. They park it, and the rest of the time it's pushed around. I couldn't remember if it said it had a. Seems like I looked at it and it said it had a new battery on it. So that's why I was thinking maybe it did run, but it didn't make any difference to me either way. I would have even bought it if the motor was bad, because same thing. How much stuff could really be bad from just sitting there? Yeah, some seals could go bad. It could start leaking oil. I mean, it's not leaking any oil now. It's got oil within it. So I was okay with it. I was okay with buying it. I believed if I would have primed the oil pump, that bike would have started up and it would have ran. And I would have loved to have that. Now, I didn't go and look at it. Somebody else told me 94 was the first year that they came back with the Road King. I don't know. I didn't research that. Maybe somebody that's a Road King fan can say that down here. I don't know. But I was just devastated that it sold that cheap. So next year, we're probably going to have a bidding card. We're hoping to have some of the vets money that we could have saved up. We're going to be looking at once they get President Trump put a thing out there to stop all grants and stuff. Well, I'm not really worried about that because we're a non-for-profit that's here to help vets. We're not buying any stupid stuff. We don't have DEI. Pretty
We're
much.
not going to research why cats pee green and yellow and different colors.
So I'm not really that concerned about that. So we've already got, I think we got $225 in the bank right now from 3 subscribers or 3 people donated. May not all be subscribers. Here's the barcode. If you'd like to check out our website for the bike builds for vets. We're hoping to get some bikes from some of our Harley dealers. We actually talked here to Hall Bikes about maybe being able to pick up some of our bikes for us as a veteran. I said, we can give you tax write-off and everything with it. They're very interested in helping us out to where maybe Wilkins, Harley Davidson there in Vermont might want to donate some bikes, and they can pick them up. No hurry to get them to the shop. And hopefully, maybe our hope would be maybe by the time Sturgis is over this year, we can have a handful of bikes that we can start working on and getting going. And I'm even, the only stipulation that we have to have for Hall Bikes is the tires have to air up and it has to roll. It has to be where they can roll it in the truck and roll it back out. That's the only stipulation that they have. If it's got a little hole in it, you can plug the tire. I'm okay with that. We'll buy new tires for it. We'll get new tires for it. So we really want to get our vet builds going this year. With everything going on right now, we're only going to be home a couple of weeks. I'm not going to get much. I'm going to try to get I'm not even sure if I want to tear into my cylinders on my motor or not, because if they don't get them back in time, then that it's going to sit. Well, it wouldn't be too bad. I guess if it only sat for a week, 10 days, 15 days while we're gone, and then come back and put it back together again. I have to look to see how quick Arizona Bike Week is.
Say hi to a couple people. Hey, tell Jeff. Jeff's on. And then, Lone Star. I keep saying Lone Star. Lone Cowboy Adventures. So that's crazy what that bike went for. Skippy says he's a Road King fan. So do you know when? Oh, here. He said something else. Please hit that thumbs up button. So, Skippy, do you know when the Road Kings either started or when they came out again, if they stopped and came back? So, all right.
Let me check this other phone and see.
Already did, Skippy. Okay. So
what
don't forget.
Would be special about
New York Harley Rider. Hello. Hi there. How are you doing? Not sure if I've seen you on before, but welcome
so
to
it was.
the family.
So in 1994, the Harley Davidson Road King was introduced on the market. It had hard saddlebags and a windshield, but no fairing. One of the defining features of that Road King was its large retro headlight and reminiscence of the big twins of the 60s. So there you go. I would have loved.
That would have been like one of the original bikes, one of the first Road Kings.
And you have to look at the serial number, see where it was built at. But I mean, that didn't make any difference. I just thought it'd be really cool to have a Road King. Probably eventually we probably would have given it away to a vet. I want to rode it for a while. Yeah, just to say I had it. But I mean, it would have been a really cool bike to have. And I wished. Next year will be different. We'll probably get it. I don't know if you could do this or not. It costs you $200 to get in here and have a bidding pass. Well, they got free tickets all over the place. You can bid online for $100. So I have to check with the fees. If the fees are more for bidding online, then it wouldn't make any sense. But I thought, why not just bid on? Why not sit here in the audience and bid online instead of paying $200? But I figured if you bought a ticket here, it's $75. You'd only save $25. So that wouldn't save you really. But if you bought 2 tickets to get in for the whole time, that'd be 150. To where you buy a $200 pass, you automatically get a free guest pass for the other person to come in. So I guess it's not a bad deal to go that route. So don't know. Just something I was thinking when I was sitting there, because we didn't buy a bidding pass this year, because I wasn't looking. We don't really have a lot of money. I would have had to go get a loan for this to be able to buy this. You can't put credit cards. You can't put the bikes on credit cards. You can put the memorabilia on credit cards. They do charge you, I think, 3% for use of the cards. But I would have loved to have that bike. But I mean, they had a bunch of Harleys and stuff that sold for around $1,500. They were older bikes, 74, 75, 78, 2000, that sold for $1,500 on Wednesday. So I would love. So next year we're probably going to buy some bikes, unless everybody gives us so many bikes that we're so swamped that we don't. Then maybe we'll bring some bikes here and auction them off to raise more money. So another.
Did you see any Harley Davidson broad track racers? If yes, how much are they going for?
I'd have to look it up. I didn't see them, but we didn't see every bike go through.
Does that have an index in it, that book?
I
Let
don't
me see
think
if
so.
I look in the book and see if there's an
You'd
index.
have to almost go, I think, through every sheet and see if it's listed in there. She'll look in the book and see. But you can go online and type stuff in. That's the book of all the bikes that. Now, not all the bikes showed up here. Some bikes are stuck in containers because they sold a lot of bikes here, like a Kawasaki and a Honda, stuff like that, that never came to the U.S. They were sold in China or Japan or Taiwan. Looked a lot the same, but I mean, they had kilometers for speedometers. They didn't have odometers.
No, but what you can do, Jeff, is go on the mecum.com, I guess, and you can put in, like, let's say you have a bike that you want to bring to the auction next year. You can type in that bike and see what ones in the past have sold for. So if you go to their website, I'm sure if you type in that, what you're looking at, you can see what bikes have been here and what they've sold for. Because they don't have an index in the book. I thought maybe they had an index and I could go to one and look and see what's
It's like a Christmas book. If any of you know
It's a
about the
wish
old
book.
the old Sears catalog used to be for us old folks. We'd sit down and go through there and look at the toys and all that. They really didn't advertise them on TV like they do today and on the internet.
Well, you got one of those big posters that had a lot of bikes on it that they sent you in the mail.
Yeah. And so, but see, most of the bikes that are on, like we did a
Maybe
video.
next year, Skippy,
We did a video before the rally. Before I call everything a rally. Before this event started a week or so ago, I made a video of this. And what they do is, for a price, they'll send it out to all the people that are registered buyers. That pictures of the bike, you can click on and take you to the link and all that. You can go, you could have went into their files and look at them too. And I made a video with some of them. I think I took my 25 pictures I took that they had sent through emails and changed them over to JPEG so I could put them in a video and showed some of those bikes behind us while we were talking.
And Sexy Biker says we're not trying to get money. I guess we're talking too loud.
Probably.
Skippy says, okay, he's going to meet us here next year. You and your wife, you come on out. We can hang out. And then you can come see Vegas if you've never been. The people that are here this year, never been to Vegas, so they're kind of overwhelmed.
Floridians.
And East Coast, I think she was from originally upstate New York before they went to Florida. And he's from like Georgia, South Georgia, Miami, down in that area. So they've always been on the East Coast. So I think this is as far west as they've ever been.
And
so
we kind of get our stuff together. Maybe we're going to Florida for a while.
Yes, we're going to move.
Because I don't want to make this a lousy video and nobody can hear us.
Because then people afterwards will come on.
They won't watch.
To do that. Yep.
Won't watch.
That's cool, Skippy.
All right, let me grab a few things and then you can make a couple trips in, I guess.
All right. We're moving. So just stand by. Please stand by. Is that what it used to say?
So we're moving, going into the bar. So let's see what we got here. Really? No, So can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? So behind us is the option. Is my camera that dirty, or is it the windows that dirty? So let me know how we sound. Yeah, all the internet's still going, all the phones. Not particularly stable. Moving again. I just had to sit on this side. Then after I looked at the camera, you were looking at just the stands. So can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Let me know. You guys can hear us. Hear a lot of scratching and delay. Sounds like a CB radio. So how does it sound now? Does it sound any better? Let me move it a little microphone a little closer. See if Cam can get in. If Cam will be able to get in here. May have to turn it more. So let me know. We got a bunch of people that have been talking. Sounds like a CB doesn't. Let me get the phone here and see what it sounds like. Got a bunch of people that have been talking. This ain't gonna work.
All right.
This is worse yet. So hold on. There's a table out there. I don't know if it's got two bar stools or not. This is worse yet. My camera.
I put it in that bag.
All right, so we're moving again. It's a big dog, but you can't see him. Just got the camera going the wrong way. Let's see. If it's got two bar stools here, it may work. It may only have one bar stool. Oh, there's two. We made it. All right. So now tell me if you could hear me now. All right, that's if Tam can find me. All right. So Tam, if you come out the door, you're going to make a right. Let's get the table over and we'd have a nice background behind us. Guess I could do that. See if it says it sounds better. Yes, better. Yes, better. All right, give me a minute here. I'm going to try to turn this table. Here she comes. Turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around. Over here, lift up. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. Looking the wrong way. You see yourself now. Do you see yourself? Can you see me now? Hello? Can you see me now? Here she comes. I knew she wouldn't be able to find me. This table was all by itself sitting here, so we're gonna move it over here in front of this fancy backdrop. Yeah, move the table. Amy name.
That's good.
She had no idea where I was at. I do that. She was just standing there. She looked right at me. I said, "Quit looking at your phone and you see
I
something."
can't hear because you turned all the phones down. Hey,
So we're actually in front of a display, which is called Urban Hirsch
collection.
Third Collection. Let me turn that up there. You can see it. It's probably backwards. Table's a little wobbly. We can't really lean on the table, or it'll look like we're having a hurricane here.
Probably coming out on the right side of you. I guess I am.
All right. So we got a little bit of a white backlight, kind of washing us out, but that's okay. So here we go. We'll get back to all this. So where'd we leave you at?
Jeez, you can't lean on that.
We're in the ocean.
Well, you're gonna knock over all the drinks. Better, a lot better. But he liked the other view though.
Sorry. Don't know.
So anyway, tell him about the other bike.
Okay.
Field for Folds bike.
Okay. So they had that Indian that they were selling. Ended up being another. I might have been. Well, the YouTuber was actually who the one. I didn't have the whole story originally. We didn't show you that video yet. Ends up being Fishy Rider.
Riding Fish or Fish Rider. Yeah, one of those two.
It was a YouTuber. He's got about 19,000 subscribers. Pretty decent looking guy. I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of his videos. I talked to him about. I thought he was really big. I think I've seen the guy before. He ended up winning this bike, and I thought he bought it. But I guess they had raised like $115,000 on the tickets that they had to give this bike away. Well, I didn't realize it was just a stock Indian bike, a brand new 2024. So I had thought all the painting and all that stuff was stuff that came that way. Well, it wasn't. So they had it all painted, custom, all this great stuff to it. Well, they had
Fish.
Yeah, that's it, Riding Fish. And a really nice guy. I really didn't get enough time to get him on the channel. He is on the video, but I kind of messed up his name because I actually thought I thought he was the charity, is what his name was. Because it's flags, folds of flags, I don't know. I'm all screwed up now, messing up my names. And so they were here. So what ended up happening, it came across the assembly line for the bidding and all that. And, everybody was really scared because they had no reserve. Could have sold for $1. Well, ended up getting I think it was 62,000. She thought it was 59. So it's kind of. Once I get the video, I can tell you exact price. But they were folds.
I'm looking for
folds of honor. Folds.
I thought it was Fields of Folds or something with folds and fields.
Because it's about the flag being folds. So what ends up being what they do is they give money to families that have lost somebody in a war or whatever, help out the families and stuff like that. So if somebody knows what that's called while she's trying to look it up, it's in the video. I got the right name in the video, but we haven't done that yet.
Folds of Honor.
There you go. Folds of Honor. And that was a charity they had. They were actually in an area. I forget what area they're in, but they're actually just in their state. I thought they were a nationwide organization.
Well, we've talked to them quite a bit in Florida.
Did we?
Yeah. They're always right in front of the Beaver Bar. Right before you go up to go in, they're always right there on the corner. We've talked to them a couple times. Yes.
You probably did. So yes, I had heard. Seemed like I have heard the name before, but I thought it was like Fallen Vets. I thought it was an organization that was. It's kind of like us. We're our non-for-profit is based in Arizona, but we're going to do it in all 50 states.
The Fishing Rider. Riding Fish.
Yeah, Riding Fish is what it is.
It's an Indian affiliate influencer. So like how we do mostly Harleys, he must do mostly Indians.
But I mean, I think I've seen his videos before because I've seen the name and I just thought he was really a big, like 100,000 subscribers is what I was thinking. And so when I walked away, I kind of pulled up. Once I figured out what his name was, I had it wrong. And then when I pulled up his subscribe to his channel, I was like, oh man, he's only got 19,000. Because he kept saying he was a small YouTuber. Channel. And I'm like, well, we're really small. But I was just assuming he was a bit really big. So we're a little bigger than him, which is fine. I don't know how long he's been doing it, but we talked a little bit about doing videos and stuff, and he doesn't like to edit. And that's half the battle that you're doing this is editing. So that's why I like the bike. He says, I got a lot of videos that I filmed, all the work we did on the bike and the parts and all this stuff. And
I think Clockworks helped him.
But there's a whole bunch.
And Corbin seats, and so.
And he had special custom grips and mirrors done by another company that just came in 9 hours before they got here. They put them on. So it was down to the wire. And I said, did you film all this? Well, he's kind of like, he's not like us, where we have two of us at least. Him, it's by himself. So he's trying to film stuff while he's working on it. And that's what I said. There's some of these guys, some of these YouTubers out here that do stuff like bike builds and stuff like that. They've got a camera guy. So they're always holding the camera up and they're shooting them, kind of like we just use the Gas Monkey as an example. He has an actual camera guy. He shoots the videos, he edits the videos, he does all the work for him. Can't think of the monkey's name.
Professional Monkey?
No,
Richard Rollins.
Richard Rollins. Richard, I not saying that Richard doesn't do anything. Richard's got to know what he's going to say and talk and all that kind of stuff. So, but he's more like a star versus doing all the work behind. And then you could be like the Professional Monkey, where he's more or less he's holding his phone, and you can't film everything if you're holding the phone. So where a lot of times that's what I do is I'll set a tripod up on the other side of the bike when I'm doing something like that, to where I can zoom in, zoom out, and stuff like that in the editing to show you that. And so it just depends on when, if you've got help that could help you or something like that, because I don't even know if Professional Mrs. Monkey helps him film or not. I don't know if I've ever seen her with a camera. Not saying she doesn't.
She might.
Yeah, she might.
So, Jeff, I'm glad you're okay and you escaped the fires. Our daughter's fine. She was down Huntington Beach, so she wasn't affected by it at all, other than the smoke. But other than that, she's doing really good.
So we'll be there next Sunday, a week from today, or tomorrow. Actually, a week from today, we'll be in Ventura, California. And there's sometime during the day. And then we'll be there for Sunday for the David Mann show. And then we're hoping to be able to come back down to one and maybe film some of the devastation, maybe stop. I have done this before because I've actually worked fires in California when I worked for the utility company, the gas company. If you actually watch the video, you'll see some of the guys in the blue coveralls with vest on. Those are SoCal Gas employees. That's the distribution guys. I wore a blue shirt, blue pants. I was a customer service guy, which dealt with meters. And you might have seen, some of them might have been during the fire. They might have been in the fire.
Email us, Jeff, and maybe, because I don't know exactly where you are in Los Angeles area. I know you're there somewhere. If you go to the David Mann show, let us know. Send us your contact information, and we'll get a hold of you. I know you've always said to let me know when you're in that area of the town. And if we're coming down the one, maybe we can meet up somewhere. So, because I don't know exactly where you're located, but that would be cool to meet up with you.
Who is it?
Jeff Camp. I call him Tall Jeff.
Not Jeffy.
Not Jeffy. Because we've got a couple Jeffs. And so when he came on, I guess he said, well, he was a tall guy. So I just named him Tall Jeff.
That's how she remembers you. Because the people we're with, they're from Florida, and they've been watching us for a while. And they said that. They said, because I was rattled, we were telling today, he liked to hear stories. And so I was telling a lot of stuff, and I had to go to her, and it's like, you remember that place, that fish place that we stayed camping at? It was in that really cool town, and da-da-da-da-da. And finally, she kind of got where I was going, and she says, yeah, how was that?
It's in Fairhope, Alabama.
And so I'm like, she goes, how do you remember all that? I said, well, we have videos on all those. We did those videos 3 or 4 years ago. You can go back and see some of those videos where we traveled. And it might have been 2020 when we were coming back from all that. Or it was either 2020 or 2021. First 2 years.
Might have been even in 2019, because I know after we left Sturgis that year, because that was right after you retired, and we went down to Texas. So it might have been, well, yeah, because we went on that side. So it was probably 2020.
So don't know, but they're there. You can go back and look for them. You can go in there into our search.
Mine's like a little Rolodex. When he says something, it goes until it finds what he's asking out, and then I remember.
And I can always go back to the videos and try to track them down and all that. Sometimes they search out. I'm starting to do on some of them. I'm going in when I have a little bit of time. I'm changing some of the thumbnails. I'm changing some of the titles to try to help people, because especially in a playlist, our Sturgis playlist is like 84 videos are in there. So it's got a little bit of everything. And there's probably some in that playlist that may not be something that would pertain to this year. But a lot of that stuff, if you're looking for a campground, they're all pretty much the videos we've done. They haven't really changed that much. They might have updated a few things, but that's not going to make a difference if you're staying there. Main Street is Main Street. Nothing's really changed. Might be a few different stores there, but overall, it's still the same. And a lot of things that the city and stuff does. And oh, there's what I wanted to ask. Those going to Sturgis. What do you think about the last band entry that they had? Who is it?
Gene Simmons.
So what do you think about Gene Simmons coming to the Buffalo Chip? Give you a minute to think about that. And then in a minute, we'll give some of you like to put some comment, and I'll tell you what I think about what they've done. So, see that they got Jason Aldean. A lot of people seem to like that, and he's good. He's got a lot of hits, So it's kind of cool. We depending on we're not there yet. And I mean, people always say that question. Even Daytona. Daytona is like less than 30 days. I think it's like 27 days or 28 days right now from opening day. And it's like they still don't have a lot of the band concerts listed at a lot of the bars and stuff. And they're not going to. They'll have them about a week before. They'll start putting it on their Facebook pages or whatever they have it and announce it. And if we get them, we'll put them up for you. There's a couple of bars that have put their bands up. Events they have. If they're having a wet t-shirt contest or if they're having a bikini bike wash or whatever they got, some of those are already putting stuff up. But I haven't seen anything from Dirty Harry's or the what's the one across the lot in the bank. I haven't seen anything come out of there yet of what their venues are. I haven't heard anything Teddy Morris is having for bands. Typically on the Veterans Day, they usually have Jackal play. Haven't heard anything about Jackal. You'd have to probably go to their website and see if Jackal's got that book for So it's really, I hate that. You plan this freaking rally for a whole freaking year, and you can't come down till the last week, and you're finally figuring out, I guess we're gonna hire a band. I don't know.
Skippy says he's not a fan, I guess, of Gene Simmons.
So we know Gene Simmons a couple different ways. So one way I probably can't say, but
if you're watching from the beginning, we were having some sound issues, Art. He says it sounds a little choppy and echoey. So I don't know where he's at in the. Everybody else said it sounded good, so I don't know. What music do you guys like? We're 70s kids, so we like.
Well, we listen to a lot of stuff.
We do. We country and different things, and I like Christian music. So.
All right, it sounds too bad. We were DJs. We had a DJ business in the early '90s. I guess it was early '90s.
When we went DJ?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until we moved to California.
2002.
So I had a DJ company. So we learned a lot of music that I never really listened to, like the older rap music, Bust a Move and Vanilla Ice and all that kind of stuff. We normally listened to, when we grew up, we listened to 70s music. That was our stuff. Boston, ELO, Chicago, Kiss, Foreigner. That was kind of what we did. My first concert was Alice Cooper when I was 16 years old. I've been to other concerts when I was a kid. We used to have a place called the Mississippi River Festival. My sister and my parents' stuff used to go there. I seen REO Speedwagon and Doobie Brothers back then, and a whole lot of bands back there that I don't always remember. Actually seen the Partridge Family there when I was a kid. My parents took me there. I think it was actually David Cassidy. It wasn't the whole Partridge Family, but he sang all the songs anyway. So they took me to that, and then when we got into the 80s, country got real popular. We seen a lot in St. Louis. They had a thing that lasted a whole day, and it was called the Country Newbies or something like that. And you had Billy Ray Cyrus, you had the Judge, you had Alan Jackson, you had
Garth Brooks was there.
No, I don't think Garth Brooks was there. Trisha Yearwood, Reba might have been there. I think we seen Garth after that. And so they had all these people that just started out in the early 80s.
90s.
And so we were really big, 90s. We were really big in the country.
Sweetheart to the Radio.
And so we seen all that. And then, so when we started, so now we've seen a lot of bands play. We haven't never seen AC/DC. We've never seen the Rolling Stones. We never got to go to any of those. I'd love to still see AC/DC. I don't know if they'll ever come to anything close where we're at. A lot of times here, like Styx is playing here in Vegas. They wanted the cheapest ticket was $180. I won't pay that much money to go to a freaking concert. It just isn't worth it. And you figure we got to buy 2 tickets. That's the cheapest tickets. That's back in Phoenix Heaven with a pole in front of you and you can't see.
Standing room only.
Yeah,
I can't stand.
So I'm not even going to look. And so we kind of bounce around. Over here in Laughlin, a lot of times they have concerts, which are across the river from us, Laughlin, Nevada.
Actually, Kiss was down there.
Yeah, we've seen Kiss. And we've seen Kid Rock. We've seen him twice there. We've seen
Rod Stewart.
We've seen
Montgomery.
Bob Seger was down there. Was that where we seen Bob Seger at, too?
That was in L.A.
I can see my feeder, and see what I found out. Once we sat close,
When we went to the Beach Boys concert.
I can never sit in the back anymore. If you're, we might as well sit home and listen to music on a CD or
See the
iPad.
Eagles
Yeah.
when Glenn Fry was still with them.
Yep.
When they first came back, when they first got back together. That must have been in 2005.
10 years ago.
2005.
And so that'd be 20 years
20
ago.
years ago.
And but we've seen a lot of concert stuff. I mean, I like the idea of Gene Simmons coming. Gene Simmons is a really cool guy. We have met him before we ever had a YouTube channel. He's done a lot of things in his life. He's been at other events that I've had access to. And so I've been able to talk to him, and he's a really cool guy. He's got a bunch of restaurants and stuff in California. What's this place called?
Rock and Brews.
Yeah, Rock and
They're
Brews.
kind of across the country now because I think there's some in Daytona.
Oh. So he's got those. Sometimes he shows up. We used to have one down by Knott's Berry Farm, and he'd show up down there every now and then. He lived in LA. Yeah, no, it's not on Beach. It's right on the same. They took over like where Poor Boys used to be.
I know.
I mean, I don't think that is that Beach. That's not Beach in front of
No.
Knott's Berry Farm. You have to say, well, what street is Knott's Berry Farm on? I don't think it's Beach.
What street is Knott's Berry Farm on?
I don't know.
Crescent, Western, and Grand.
La Palma should go the other way. I don't
That's
know.
La Palma, that's Grand, that's Western.
Which one's going to, which one comes off the highway? It comes off the 90.
I think it's over here.
5.
La Palma,
So that's La Palma. So La Palma's in front of it.
Crescent.
Beach the other way. I don't know if there's an exit off of the 90 off the beach, is there?
Yeah.
The ocean. So there you
There's
go.
beach there. See, there's Knott's Berry Farm and there's beach. It is beach.
I'll have to wait till we get there next time. Doesn't seem like that's a beach exit, but it could be. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But he's got a place there. It's called Rock and Brews. And we used to go down there and eat sometime. They had good fish and chips and stuff there. Not the cheapest place in the world, but no place is the cheapest place in the world. This couple that's here is one of our subscribers, Chris and what's his wife's name?
Jesse?
Jesse. They're here. Remember, I'm bad with names, so just listen.
On Beach Boulevard, Rock and Brews.
So they kept asking us, where's a really good place to eat? What's really good food? When we come to Vegas, we don't really eat at a lot of high-end places. We used to eat at this Virgil's barbecue, but the last 2 times we ate there, the barbecue kind of sucked. So I don't know what they did to it. That's by the links. But we really like that, but we don't eat there anymore. But we eat at Chili's, we eat at Chick-fil-A, we eat at In-N-Out, we eat at White Castle's here. What else have we eaten?
Well, they wanted a good buffet, but buffets here in Las Vegas aren't what they used to be because now they have all these chefs, and so now they charge anywhere between $45 and $75 a person.
Well, they wanted a steak, and she looked at 3 steakhouses, and it started at $100 a steak
per person, and that's probably just for the steak. It's a la carte. Then whatever, if you want to bake potato with it, that's another probably $15.
And they're probably, we had it at Gilligan's. Is that what it was called? Gallagher's. A couple years ago, one of our subscribers invited us to come out to dinner there.
In New York.
We ended up splitting it because the steak it's probably
14 ounces.
Well, this one here was 14 ounces. So that's a lot of meat to eat, even for 2 people for us. And if you get a good sized baked potato, that's plenty for us for 2 meals really. And so we said that to them, and that's what they said. We really don't justify it. I'm like that too. Really, a meal over $50 to me, food isn't that. I'm not a foodie guy.
There's 2 things he thinks is a waste of time.
Eating is one, and using the bathroom is the second one. And if you quit eating, you wouldn't have to use the bathroom. It's just a waste of my time. Sleeping's after that. That's the next thing. It's a waste of my time. I'd be doing a lot of things if I didn't do those 3 things.
As I said, what time do you want to get tomorrow? He says, well, put it for 7. No, put it for 7:30. He was probably up at 6 o'clock. He was on his phone over there. And he's like, hurry up. Are you done? You want to be at the dealership at 10. So it's hurry up.
No, we had to be out of the place by 10, I think, too.
Got everything loaded up, got it all in the truck, got to the dealership at 9:30.
I like to be on time. I'm an on-time guy.
If he's not an hour early, he's 3 hours late.
I'm never that late. I'm hardly
You
ever
did not
late.
hear what I said. If you're not an hour early, you think you're 3 hours late.
Because if I tell someone I'm going to be there, that's the time I'll always be there.
Unless it's something I want to do. And he drives like a little old lady.
You still get there on time, don't you?
Sometimes.
Very seldom.
Kids' birthday parties. It started like 10 minutes, and we're still an hour away.
Not my fault. I should have left earlier.
No, you want to stop by here. You want to do this. You want to do that. We'll go by the dealership real quick.
What? We have no dealership anywhere around any place we
No,
live.
in Huntington Beach, if we're going down there.
I don't not that fond of those dealerships.
I know, but you still do it.
So there we go. So we're at the auction, and the rally season is about to start here. We're about 28 days from Daytona, and then it's all downhill after that. It's pretty much bang, bang, bang right behind each other. Now we are thinking, because this couple this year has never been any this far west before in their life. His dream is the redwoods. He wants to see the redwoods. So we're really thinking about that again this year. They've been working on part of the landslide out there, which I don't. Even if Malibu has a landslide, it isn't a big deal. We can go around that. You're not missing that much there because we get on there anyway. We get on normally I get on at Santa Monica Boulevard. We get on right there at Route 66 ends. That's usually where I start my Route 66 ride. Or my A1, my PCH, Pacific Coast Highway, Highway 1. That's usually where I start my ride from. But it can't go up farther because it really doesn't get good until you get to Morro Bay. Once you pull out of Morro Bay, that's when it gets to be the best ride. So usually my first night that we start out from after we leave, we used to say if we leave from home from Orange County, we'd stay that night in Morro Bay. And the next morning you're on the road to go to Big Sur and you're on your adventure then. So it's about round trip with all the stops and seeing all the cool things. It's about a 6-day ride up and back. So people should start thinking about it because that's like they're going to talk to Hall Bikes today to see about maybe sending their bikes to our house. You can ship them to the shop and we can pick them up there, or you can have them shipped to. We have several dealerships here in Las Vegas that we can work a deal with and have bikes shipped to them. Red Rock Harley or Henderson Harley. I can get it set up. The bikes will be set there. We want to get them sent to where they only have to fool with them for a day or two before they have to push them in and out. So we're going to start talking about that right now. What I'm thinking, which I got to look at the calendar. I'm thinking maybe September. August or September. The bad thing about August is a lot of people, you're right down with Sturgis, and you're like, I already spent all this money going to Sturgis. And you want to do this again. We've done in October before, but you sometimes can get misty and rainy and stuff along the coast. You don't mind getting wet. But
after the very beginning of September.
Last year, we were kind of looking at August, at the end of August, and
no, it's the beginning of October.
And whale season starts. And the hotels are crazy.
Prices at the end of September, and they were pretty reasonable, $135 a night. And that was like September 30th. And then I went to October 1st to see how much motel rooms were, and they were like $310. And I'm like, that's one day. What is the big deal?
None of them could answer it, but we finally figured out after I started looking, whale season started. Not that you could shoot the whales, it's when the boats go out and see the whales. And so people are coming to the coast to go out and do that.
So
all the little beach towns. We're running along the beach towns. And if you've never, now we've done this. We've traveled the coast of Texas. We've traveled down both sides of Florida. We've traveled all the way up to New York on the ocean side. And nobody, no matter what you say about California and Oregon, nobody has the coast riding that you will find in California and find in Oregon. Now, we're not going to go that far into Oregon. We go kind of into the border, turn around, come back. You don't see any of that. What's wrong?
Neil says we're really broken up, but I just listened to it and it sounds fine.
Well, we got to watch not to talk too loud because this microphone's more sensitive. Yeah. So I don't want to get it too crazy. So if you're interested in it, we don't charge anything for our tour. It only costs you
right along with us. You just have to pay for your own hotel room and your own way out and back.
And then we tell you where we're going to stop at. So like last time we went, we had 3 bikes stayed together and 2 other bikes stayed. They were about an hour behind us because they were slower getting going. They didn't want to leave that early in the morning. And that's fine. And then we give you
Right,
choices.
that's all the places he stops.
Sometimes I don't know where I'm going to stop. Sometimes I have planned stops, but sometimes it's like one that we first time we went up there on the long ride up there. Art was with us, and I forget who else was riding with us. Somebody else was with us too in that group, and we go by this park and it's called Elk Park. Whatever. I look over my shoulder and I'm like, holy son of a fuck, there's like 500 elk in this little park. And I showed up. We have things. We do a spinning thing. Art's behind me and he knows we're doing a U-E in the middle of the road. So we turn, make a U-turn, we go back down there. And the road's kind of flooded, the little road. So we only went so far. There was a couple other cars down there and it was
Full of elk.
just priceless. You couldn't, I got pictures. We never had any video back then. I got pictures of all this. And it's like, it's just breathtaking. And so after a while, we probably there 15 minutes or so, got back on the bike. The other people hadn't caught up to us yet. And we pull out. And as soon as we pull out, here's an army of turkeys walking across the road. And so we see them and move along and riding along. And so we finally catch up. The people, I guess when we stopped for lunch, we always park the bikes close to the road. So they seen us, they pulled in, and we're like, wow, did you see the elks down at Elk Park? They said that park that said Elk Park on it? Yeah, there was nothing there. I said, man, when we went there, there was like 500 of them in there. When we went last year, was it last year or 2 years ago?
When we went to Washington State.
So when we went down there, then it was two herds, and the bucks were fighting. They were
throwing dirt with their antlers and stuff, and
hitting each other. And finally, the one that didn't have as many toes or whatever, and it left. And the other one stayed there. They had like 10 of them. They took control. But I mean, it was really cool to see that there. And it's stuff that you just don't see. And the moment you go through the redwoods, the real redwoods, we go off on Redwood Boulevard or whatever the hell it's called, Redwood Drive, you stop and you're on your motorcycle, you realize how small we are in the world. Yeah, how little we are in the world. And it's just breathtaking. It's an experience that you just can't explain. And but the things that we've seen elk, we've seen moose, we've seen deer, we've seen turkeys, we've seen all kind raccoons, squirrels, all that kind of stuff. Bear, we've seen a bear run across the highway in front of us, and so it's just the things that you see. Not counting the whales. Last year we seen orca whales, we seen a gray whale out on. Well, because I like to stop at lighthouses. I'm a lighthouse guy, and I like to see them. I go up in them if you can. But we were on this one, and I kept seeing this. It looked like a rock. Water kept splashing up against it. And so the ranger's there, and I'm like, what is that out there? I keep seeing water coming up. He says, that's a gray whale. It's coming up, and its spout, it's blowing the water out. So you could just see his little back come up, and then he went back down.
He'd blow.
And then the orcas, you could see their tails come up. They come up out of water, and then they come back down, and then come around again, and another one would come up. So you only kind of seen the backs of them. You didn't really see the front, but you could see that they were white and black. You knew they were orca whales. You see 4 or 5. Of course, you see the dolphins. You see the sea lions. They're all breeding along there. There's a place that you can only stop with a motorcycle. There's no parking lot there. You can park like a mile away and walk down with the bikes. You just pull off the side of the road, and there you are. You spend a few minutes there, get back on your bike, and off you go. That's one of the reasons I miss riding our motorcycle to a lot of the events, because I like to stop. That's one of the things that we did when we used to ride in California was, no matter what anybody says about California, it's got some of the best landscape of all kinds, because they've got Death Valley, they've got mountains. Right now, we got the desert out here. It's going to be 80-something degrees here today out in Death Valley. You can go up to the mountain, and it's 15 degrees, and it's got snow on it. All on the same day, or we can go down to the coast. We could actually do that one loop in one day with no problem. And then all the other things to see, the Joshua trees, and just all the different things you can see that not any real other state, mainly because California is so freaking long, and that's why you see all that. But it's like California, I think it's like 75% of the ground in California is actually owned by the state and the federal land. That there really isn't. When you put all the square footage together, you think there's a lot of people there, which there is, because it's a really big, long state, but a lot of it's federal and state land. So that's why you see a lot of that. And when we travel, all states have good points, that you go to. The politics there kind of sucks. But when you're out there on the one, politics really doesn't affect you. You really don't even see cop cars or anything out there. You're going to go through some of the beach towns and stuff and see them. But it's just different. It is my favorite because a lot of people, somebody the other day was some motorcycle YouTube channel was putting up all the great rides, and they were actually saying from this one stretch of the PCH was their favorite lane, and I'm like, they were just north of Leggett, and I'm like, you didn't, and I wrote on there, you didn't ride from Mirror Forest to Leggett at 200 miles. The guy hasn't want me back yet. That is the best part. It takes you 8 hours to ride that 200 miles. That's if you don't stop. There's really only one little town in the whole place there, but you're on the cliffs. You're going around turns. When we did it at the time with the six bikes that we went with, we even had to stop and push cows off the road, and so we could get our bikes. And then we looked at our rear view mirrors, and cows came back in the middle of the road again, stood there again. And
Well, there used to be a commercial in California when we first moved out there. It was called Happy Cows. I always had the Happy Cow commercial. But once we rode that and saw that the cows actually had like beachfront property, there was like this field, grass, and the ocean. And it's like, no wonder they're so happy. They have beachfront property they're on.
And so and they've had a lot of mudslides and stuff like that. And it's getting more populated. We rode it last year, 2 years ago, I guess we rode it. We took a car that trip, and some of it had still been washed out, so you missed some of it. You missed some of the Big Sur area. You can't go, but Big Sur is cool. If you've never been there, it's worth seeing. It's a very small area. They got a restaurant, they got a bar, a couple other little bars there. There's no businesses there. I don't think there's even a gas station in Big Sur. Um, but it's a cool place to stop because you kind of come up this hill from Morro Bay, and then you're kind of at the top, and then you can see the ocean, and you sit out there on their patio and stuff, and have lunch or dinner and watch the loans. And then, but I mean, there's a bunch of places like that. But if they still have the mudslide that happened 4 years ago, which is supposed to be done last spring, and then last I heard it's supposed to be done this spring, which should be in the next few months. So I'm kind of monitoring that. And so if you're interested in that, that might be something you might want to start thinking about. We were just talking about because we actually had a new subscriber, not a new subscriber, a regular subscriber that helped us get to Myrtle Beach last year, paid for our campground to help us get there because we just couldn't afford it anymore. That he wanted to sponsor us for a rally. Well, we were thinking to go do Galveston. But when we started doing the homework, we found out the SEMA show is going on the same time Galveston's going on. I like the SEMA show. And so I'd rather stick with the SEMA show right now.
And it doesn't cost us as much.
Yeah. And so
So
I told her today, I said, that's what we could do with his money. He could sponsor our trip up the PCH. So even if we just do it together by ourselves, it's still going to give you footage that nobody else is really. So many people do. It's like 2-lane change, 3-lane change, whatever those guys are called. They ride the PCH off and on. They don't stop a lot. They show you the great riding, which it is. But the things that you can stop and see is what's priceless. And most of the stuff is free. Doesn't cost you to look. It's just priceless. And so we're figuring motel rooms. We figured probably around $1,000 that would cost for that, plus your gas. Plus or minus, could go $1,500 for the whole trip.
It just depends on what we can get. What we'll do is we'll book like a batch of 10 or 12 rooms because we don't know how many people is going to go. And then you would call, we'd tell you the motel rooms, and you can stay with us at that motel room, or you can
go to
find your
Motel
own.
6. We usually stay. I like Best Westerns. That's kind of we've started that back when Harley Davidson used to give you a 20% discount off of Best Westerns. I like Best Westerns the most, and we do Hawthorne. I think that's what it's called, Hawthorns. We've done some of those. That's kind of what it is. I'm not a Motel 6 guy. I'm not a Super 8. Most of those are you can't sleep at night because you can hear everybody from floors above you, below you, and on sides of you.
Click, click, click.
And,
heels walking up the steps and knocking on the doors.
So you got that point that she was making. We had a hotel that the very first time we ever went up the coast a little way with our hog group.
Monterey Bay, I think.
Went with our hog group. We stayed at this hotel, and it was pretty cool. There was a nice restaurant right there by it and all that. And the hog group set it all up. We went to go see a rodeo or something we had gone up there to see. And well, that hotel now turned into a trucker escort
service.
Girls walking, so they even closed the parking lot off so you can't make U-turns through it. So the last time, this is like 15 years ago, we stopped there, and it was like, this doesn't look like the kind of hotel we want to stay at anymore. So that one's off.
Yeah, it didn't have elevators, but they just had steps. So all you heard was heels, up steps, knocking on a door.
About an hour later,
door slams, click, 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 back down the steps. all night long. So anyway, Jeff
The only
wants
thing
to
missing
know,
was the red light.
and if it would have been the red roof then they would have had the red roof. But anyway, Jeff wants to know how your shop's coming. Less
It's
than
going
10
pretty good.
minutes.
I still need to finish up the bathroom. I put some more stuff on the walls to kind of get it smoothed out a little bit. I got to put a couple beams up in the roof to get because my drywall I put on where the seam's at, there's nothing there. It's wobbling around. So I just got to put a couple 2x4s in. I got to take a bunch of crap. We threw all the excess plywood and
2x4s.
drywall up on this thing. So I'm going to have to move it around and put those in. I never put the insulation in up there either. And then I had a light on it. And I got to mount the shower stall.
That's why we didn't put the insulation in.
So I put the slide in. I bought a shower light that's water resistant or shock resistant or whatever it is. So I got to do that. But I mean, the toilet works, the sink works. I got a water softener in there, the water heater, all that stuff's all hooked up and everything's working. Just the shower doesn't have the walls up there. They're leaning against there, but I haven't.
Well, because you got it, the 3 walls are up, but the one or the 2 walls, the wall that's where you got to put the shower in, we don't do very good at lining up where it's supposed to be.
We do the measuring
We
and
measure it, and cut the hole and put it up, and here's where it needs to come out, and here's the hole, or here's the hole, or here's the hole. It never lines up. So
we got Jim, the daughter's-in-law. He does a lot of high handiwork and stuff like that. So he told me before he'd help me do that. So I once I get everything, all the finished mudding up done, then I'm gonna get him to come over and slam the shower up. So then that's all done. I got a little closet I was gonna make, which that's already done. The walls, I just gotta put the boards in, shelves. I'm just gonna use 2x4s or 1x1s and just put boards on it. And I don't think we're even gonna put a door on it. Just a place to put stuff at. Maybe put a curtain there. I don't know. It's too small to put a door. You put, I guess, a beneath one of those folding doors to put on it. But it's not just a curtain. It's nothing. It doesn't really just a garage. We're still waiting to find out about our lift for cars so we can add stuff to the car videos because I might end up having to pull her motor out of her Mustang because it's leaking oil and I don't know where. Nobody seems to be able to find it. So I got to figure out myself if the rear main seal's leaking, if it's a valve cover, oil pan.
bolts of honor.
Yep, bolts of honor. There you go. That's what it's called. And another great charity out there. And so they sold that bike, did really well. So the garage is going pretty good. No complaints about the garage, other than it's going to get hot. I've been looking at some swamp coolers. Swamp coolers are those water cooler things out here because we have no humidity. We had a company at SEMA. We should have went and talked to the rest of them. We only talked to this one company, and they
were so excited.
Yes. Well, then we found out the next day when we got to the last day of the show, the guy, he's told the people that was in charge, and they're like, oh, well, we don't know. So he really had no real say-so.
He was kind of like the salesperson, not really the marketing.
He only been working there a short time. So he just thought because the problem that a lot of places have when they sell this kind of stuff is we're probably in Arizona, one of the only states that we have during the summer about 2, maybe on a good day, 3% humidity. And it could be 120 degrees. So for these swamp coolers, which takes water and it runs it through a cardboard thing and the fan blows across it and blows out cool air. Actually blows the other way. No, it does blow through the thing. It blows through the water and it brings out cold water. Cold air. So when we told him and he said, would you be willing if we came out and did videos in your garage? I said, well, if you gave us a couple of those things, I'd have no problem. You just have to set it up to make sure we have, or we could set it up with Jim and Jim could come over, open the garage up, just make sure there's stuff out of the way so you could do a display. And he's like, man, that would be great. We actually have a delivery going out next month over there. Well, I'll talk to them and see what's going on with them. We got the next day and they're like, well, they don't know.
Well, they said you had to call this girl. I don't remember what her name was, but anyway, they said to email her. So I emailed her because I thought it was kind of like a done deal. Like the guy was like, because what they said was, if we don't sell these, we have to take these back. And we'd rather not take them back because I guess they had to rent a U-Haul or whatever. They didn't have a truck big enough to whatever. And Bob's like, well, we can, if you want, we can just take these displays that you have. And he said, that would be awesome. We wouldn't have to take them back. So I write this girl and tell her who we are and who we talk to and blah, blah, blah. And we can pick them up and let us know because we'll have to rent a truck. And then, we can take them and you guys don't have to ship them back. And she was like, whoa. We'll call you. Don't call us. We'll call you.
Never heard from him again.
So
that's fine. That's whatever. So, but I mean, there was 3 other companies there that we could have talked to.
And one I would.
But we did show some of the, we walked through and showed some of their displays and stuff like that, but we didn't really say anything to them. And we probably should have.
The one I went through, but they wouldn't talk to me.
Yeah.
But Ron says that he sees that Harley said woke is gone and old school's back.
There's a question I've got. I wrote it on a.
Whoa!
Can't lean on the name. We need some posters. Posters to put in the lake here. Here's a question I've got. So let's say you're not happy because there's not a ultra limited this year, and you're making a big old thing about it on Facebook and stuff, and saying, I'm mad because they got rid of the ultra limited. The question is, if I give Harley Davidson a call right now to have them make you a 2025 ultra limited, will you buy it today? No questions asked. Will you buy it today? That's the thing I want to write, because people complain about they quit this model, they quit this, and they quit that, and they whine and cry. If they didn't do it, would you go out and pay cash or get a loan and buy one immediately? Or do you just
grabbing because you know that they're not making them?
Yeah.
They're not in production.
Yeah. So
not that you really want one or that you would buy one.
And so I kind of thought about that, and I'm like, if that was true, they wouldn't have quit selling them. Because usually the reason a manufacturer quits a product is because it drops off. It's not turning, just like Sportsters. No matter what anybody says, yes, the Sportster was a great entry-level bike, but most dealers sold very few Sportsters, new ones. Very few. So once again, if a dealer's only ordering one a year, there's 500 of them in the United States dealerships, and they only sold 500 of them, Harley Davidson looks at it and goes, why do we continue to need to make something that nobody goes to?
Nobody's buying.
The question I always give people is, there's probably been a restaurant or a store in your town that's gone out of business. And everybody says the same thing. Man, I can't believe they went out of business. And I go, when was the last time you went in there?
Last time you ate there?
Oh, I never ate them. Maybe that's why they went out of business, because you didn't patronize them. And I know we all think things and say things, or maybe you ate there 10 years ago and you're missing that restaurant. It's like if all the McDonald's right now went out of business,
I would miss them.
I would say, man, I'm really sorry McDonald's went out of business. And I'm like, I might miss them, but I mean, we really don't eat at McDonald's anymore.
They're
very
seldom.
Icon. But it's like something that you were used to it. It's kind of like Steak and Shakes. A lot of the Steak and Shakes there for a while completely were going out of business, and everybody was whining and crying about it. But yet we go into Steak and Shakes. There's one here. We just ate it today. That's why I'm thinking about it. But I mean, we've gone in some Steak and Shakes in Florida, and there's like 2 people in there and us at 5 o'clock at night or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's like, how do you think these people are going to stay open if you're not spending money with them? And then people wonder why Joe Schmuck's garage business down here went out of business. Well, because you're taking your car someplace else, or you got a car now. I used to be used to have an automotive shop. And we used to bend exhaust, make exhaust pipes, and sold mufflers. I haven't put a muffler or an exhaust pipe on any of my cars in the last 20 years because they put stainless steel now on them. So if you had just a muffler shop, unless you're doing custom work, which in some states you got to watch, because if you change stuff, you can't legally do it because of the emission laws. And speaking of that, at the AIM show, they're going to have some people come in and they're going to talk about regulations. Now, I'm thinking I'm probably not going to be able to film it, but we're going to take a lot of notes. And we're going to come out here and tell you what the laws are and what's going on, because there's a lot of things you can no longer do. And so we're going to find out from the people that know and bring that to you in about a week and give you all that great information. Because this thing that we're going to the AIM show is for the industry. So they've got a lot of different people that are going to be coming in. And that, when I seen that, I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to be there. I'm going to be there, at least, to check out what these guys have to say. Probably going to have the camera running. So I've got the audio. So I can take a note. Go back and make my notes and stuff. Because I'm not a great note taker. I memorize most stuff that I do. And then once I do, if I don't do it the next day or so, I'm going to forget everything I said. When I was in high school, I never opened a book ever. I was good at listening to, most of the classes I always had when I was in high school, they always did a review, either the day before or that morning before you did the test. Well, I could memorize all that stuff that they said. So I did fairly well. I always got at least C's almost all my tests. I hardly really didn't flunk anything out. One time I ever got F's were when I never showed up to school. But I was able to do that to where
And it follows.
you never did. Did you follow?
Well, Jeff says he used to own a hot rod shop, and the emission laws in California were the worst in the country. And I said, and whatever happens in California, they push that
Well, it's like
agenda across the whole nation.
it's like buying a header pipe without a converter in it. If you buy one, they have to. You can't really, unless somebody's got an old stock, you can't get it anymore. It's not available anymore. So either somebody has to make it, which I used to make header pipes for cars. So you could, with a good MIG welder, you could make your own header pipe. Wouldn't be chrome. You'd have to get some kind of shields for it. It would just be regular pipe. But you could bend it and weld the flanges on it, or weld the donut, or whatever it needs to be, the gasket on there. You could do all that. It wouldn't be that difficult if you're a good welder. I used to be able to do it. It's been a long time since I MIG weld, so I'm going to need practice. I got an arc welder and a MIG welder, and I MIG weld the other day. It didn't turn out very well, and I found out the stupid kid wasn't getting the gas through the MIG welder. No wonder it was looking like crap, but it was welded on that gas tank, and you can't see it anyway. So it held. It's good enough. I'm not going to redo it, but I practice my welding again.
All right, so we're on an hour and 15 minutes.
Hour and 15 minutes. How many people get on?
19.
19. Remember, we're probably not going to do a live tomorrow. I'm not going to promise that. If you don't see us on our normal time, then you know we're not doing a live tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, we're going to have a video come out. It's going to be a little bit, some of it's going to be the video I already kind of shot about haul bikes. We're going to add some stuff to it. I was in showing how they load the bikes, how they move the bikes around, how they strap them down. They really do a great job. They give me some really good ideas about strapping bikes down, and where they hook them at and stuff like that. And you'll see these little straps. You're like, is that what they're holding it down? But they put them in the ratcheting straps. They have the end. They put it in there, and straps are already all hung in the truck, the mechanism. And then they just run the
They hook through?
Well, not the hook. They run the material through the strap, through it, link it, and then ratchet it down and pulls the bike down. And I'm like, wow, you guys really do a good job. And they put 40, that truck had about 44 bikes in it. And so we're going to show a little bit of that, depending on what I get all edited. And then talk a little bit about, because the problem here is if you bought a bike, you've got to get it out of here by 5 o'clock on Monday. Not, it goes to All Bikes Warehouse, and it may get shuffled around because it's not going to have as much information on it. It might have your name on it, but they'll have to find it. So you'll have to have enough information for them to track it down. If you pay for your bike now here, and call Haul Bikes, and they're going to haul your bike, and they put a little fancy tag on it with your shipping number on it. It's got your name on it, your last name, and then it's got where it's going to. Terre Haute, Indiana,
Ocala, Florida.
Leesburg, Florida, where my bike's going to. It'll have a little tag that says Leesburg, Florida on it. And so that way they know, that way it gets on the right truck. Because the truck here for Ocala, which is in the Florida warehouse, it leaves here on the 5th. So between now and the 5th, they're going to pick my bike up to get it to Florida in time for us. Daytona Bike Week. Kind of excited about that. Ready to get rallies going again. I like to be busy. This has been kind of a bummer. We didn't really get the views at Mecum. We kind of got the views like we got before, but I mean, this was really bad. This is probably the worst viewing I've had for the Mecum auction. And
last year we bought bikes, and I know, but it's kind of exciting.
But even before that, I was still getting better views. I was still getting 1,500 so views. Last year we got 5,000 to 10,000 views on some of the videos because we did buy a bike. So next year we're thinking, no matter what, I'm probably going to buy something next year, depending on our bets money. If we have enough to buy several bikes, or if we only have enough to buy maybe a project bike that I'll work on for the channel, and then maybe give it away to a vet too. Because I want to get my Sportster. I want to get my chopper done, get that all fixed up, and I'm going to sell it, and then take that money and invest it in the bike builds. So if I can get $5,000 to $10,000 out of that, that'll get us a few more bikes that we can do if we don't get some from our dealerships. So Haul Bikes said that they'll help us with hauling. So if you got a bike at home you want to get rid of, like here, a couple girls here that actually work for Haul Bikes, they've got a couple Hondas at home that they haven't rode in a long time. They said, would you take them? I said, at this point, I'm about ready to take anything. Just depends on how much work that needs to be done to those bikes. If the engine's totally shot, I don't have any access to get. With the Harleys, we've done so much business with Harley Davidson and not with corporate, but with vendors and all that stuff. We can get a lot of stuff done. We can get a lot of parts for free, things like that that's going to be going to the bike, which what we'll end up doing is, if you gave us a bike, Joe Schmuck gave me a bike. Joe Schmuck, every time we work on this bike, we're going to say, Joe Schmuck gave us this bike, and this is how we started. Today we're putting cup holders from Ciro on it. We're putting a phone holder from JP Cycles, whatever it is. We got new exhaust from Chromeworks, whatever it is. So every time we do something, we're going to be talking about that bike. That's why I told the dealerships here. Every time we work on it, we're going to say it's Red Rock Harley. We're going to say it's Henderson Harley Davidson. This is who gave it to you. You got their names get really popular to you. And I think once we start the bike builds, I think we're going to end up getting a lot of people join our channel because they're going to want to know, hey, what are you doing with these bets? How are they getting the bikes? How are they doing this? I guess we need to get a hold of Jeff too, since he never called Friday.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He wanted to do something.
Yeah, a big announcement for.
So we're gonna have to see what's going on with that. And I guess
Bob went to buy a specific bike at the auction.
No, cheap
well,
bike.
The one he wanted to buy, we weren't here for. Well, not he wanted to buy. He was just really wanting to see what it went for.
I thought it would go.
Buy it.
I thought it was gonna. That '94 Rogue King that only had 1.6 miles on it.
Still great.
Yeah, I was very interested in it. I figured it'd go for $30,000 at least.
More.
And so I wasn't even interested. Then when I find out it sells for less than $12,000, now I'm heartbroken. What a bike.
If you didn't hear the whole story, you can go back to the beginning and watch it.
We'll do it. It's going to come up on the video in the next day or two. We'll have it on a video. So you'll be able to see that, what the story is. You can see the bike. I'm going to talk about it several times. I thought it was Saturday it was going to end tonight, but it ended Thursday night. So I totally missed it. But I mean, they had one bike here, which I don't know what it was. It was a $400 bike sold. The guy didn't even want it. He just bid $400 because he wanted to get the bid going. And he ended up owning it. Well, I didn't catch him. He went to haul bikes and wanted to know if they would pick it up and just drop it off the truck someplace. And I said, well, if the guy comes back, give him one of our bike builds for vets, and we'll give that bike away if it's in good shape. If you want to give bikes away, but I mean, we've seen some bikes here with Kawasaki, some Hondas that looked like they were in really decent shape. Had good tires on them. Some of them got new tires and stuff on them. To where, hey, if I could have picked it up for $1,500, that still would have been a good bike for a vet for an entry level bike. You know, I started with a Honda. If there's nothing majorly wrong with them, so yes, that's what the main thing was. I was looking for some bikes for the bike build to give the vets. So then when I started seeing these $1,500 bikes, I'm like, oh my gosh, we could have picked up 10 bikes here easily, and probably half of them we could have delivered tomorrow to a veteran. And that's what we want to do. We want to get this going. We want to give them the vets. Now, we're real close to, looks like spring break. We're probably going to be giving a chance for a Marine, a current enlisted Marine, to get a free motorcycle delivered to his base. And so we're going to have to make some phone calls and see that you should hear something about that next week if it's going to happen. Because we got to get it going because we got less than 90 days till spring fling happens. And if it doesn't, we may be looking at Bikes, Booze, and Barbecue that it'll be happening. We'll see what happens. And so it's not a brand new bike. It's just a good used bike. There's going to be new custom paint job on it.
I think Softail.
And just once again, a good entry level bike. And, you know, hey, you're a Marine, and the reason is the people that own the Cat House, their son is in the Marine Corps down at Pendleton, base down here. So they want to give their first bike to a Marine. So that's what our drawing is going to be.
And then a Bikes with Barbecue, there might be even a bigger one for after that.
Yeah, we might be giving 5 or 6 bikes away to different military people. So we'll be talking about that in the near future. So does anybody have any questions? No, we're going to wrap this up pretty quick. My butt's getting sore. And I'm getting really thirsty again.
I got to pee.
Hey, you just pee. There you go.
I did. Well, right before we came up here. But anyway, thanks for hanging out with us today. I hope you enjoyed the video and all the Mecum auctions videos. If you didn't get to see them, go back and watch them. Mecum's really cool. Hopefully we'll see you here maybe next year. Don't forget to, I can't think of the word I always want to use.
Our sponsors won't roll up on this.
I know, but I can still tell them.
Yeah.
Don't forget to support our sponsors. There you go. How's that sound? Support our sponsors that are going to help us to get to the rallies, to see you and bring you more great videos. And subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Share us with your family and friends. Give us a big thumbs up. Ring that bell for notifications, and we'll see you on the next video.
So I told you a couple times about this, and I'm going to say it again. But the gentleman that's here, Chris, one of our subscribers, he just joined our Patreon channel. And we've taken off a lot of the Topless Tuesday stuff. I've kind of got to the point now, I really don't really want to show nakedness to people. It's just not right. So what we're doing with the Patreon channel is I've had some videos, and not all of them I made. We have the Waffle House. I got to go back and find the video, all the footage for that. The problem I had with Waffle House down in Florida, uh, the issues that we had with Topless Tuesday. So some of the things like videos like that I kind of go off on.
It should be Bob's rants. That's what it should be.
And so we're going to do that. Now, we're still going to show some stuff. There's sometimes videos we do, YouTube won't approve them. We're probably going to do the slime wrestling and stuff like that because there's really not any real, there's really no nudity in there. You're still going to see the bikini girls and stuff like that. And some of that we may put on Patreon too. So just to kind of give you an idea, there's still stuff on there, but I tried to take all the Topless Tuesday stuff off just for the fact. Somebody said that the other day. She was talking about being a Christian and stuff. And they said, "How would you, if you're a Christian, why are you putting pornographic stuff out?" And so after I thought about it, it's like, you're right. I don't want to be known. Adam Amsoil. A lot of you watch his channel. Great guy. We love Adam. But you all know he chases the women around with cameras. And I always tell him that, Adam, you don't want to be the guy that they're trying to see what girl you're chasing or what her butt looks like or whatever it is. And it's like, but he does it because he knows you all watch during the rallies.
I hope we're just feeling better.
So I don't want to be that. I want to be that we put good content out and you come to our channel because you're trying to find out about the rally. You want to go to Sturgis or Daytona.
Interview the girls, they said.
Yeah, we still do that. We're still going to do that. Which we do. We've done this at the last year. We kind of started this. We haven't done Topless Tuesday in 3 years. 2 years ago, I had somebody else out there. Last year, they stopped because that's when they made this big rant about me, and we'll talk about that on the Patreon channel. I've talked a little bit on lives. We've talked about it, but not everybody's set to a 2-hour live all the time to see all the rants I've talked about. We talked about Waffle House, I think, the last week or two, too, about some of the issues. Yeah, Barney 5. And so there's been some issues that we've had. Some I got video on. Barney 5, we don't have video. We took pictures back then. That was a trip to Sturgis. First trip we ever made, me and her, on my bike. Rode 1,500 miles to Sturgis, and we met Barney 5. And there's one bullet in his gun. And quite an adventure. So that's good that you can check that out. I can't roll up the sponsorships because this is a live. Can't put that on there. We also have normally over here, we've been putting Camp Easy Ride, their little seal, their logo. They became our #1 sponsor. Reason because they give us the most money. So he asked if he could do that to help promote his business, and I'm like, sure. If we get enough people that want to go to that higher level, we'll put one whole side here just logos for people. We'll just scoot over more. We'll put it on.
We'll get smaller.
Or maybe we'll just run them across the bottom. I don't know if I can do that or not. But
Check your tape. Yep.
And so anything to help us get to the rallies, get to more rallies. This way, we're not so strapped for cash. We're not getting to where we spent doing this in the last 5 years. I wouldn't even want to tell you how much 401k retirement money we have spent doing this. We're not going broke or anything like that, but we've spent a lot of money and we just can't do it.
We've had fun. It's just been like this big giant.
This has been a great experience. I love what we do. I love meeting all of you. You're like the biggest family we could ever dream of having. We've got a lot of you out there that we can contact if we need help when we're on the road or whatever the situation is. We've stayed at some of your houses when we've been traveling and stuff. So people have bought us meals. People have just given us cash before. And so now the sponsors we have are all great people that we've dealt with in the past, just like Paul Bikes here, Twisted Tea, All About Customs, Kathmandu,
Big Trail,
Harley Davidson, the Cat, Wide Open Customs, the Cat House,
Mike Adams,
and also somebody else. Emery HVAC.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if anybody else I forgot or not.
Sorry.
But if we did, sorry. But all those are our great sponsors that are helping us do what we do.
It's kind of cool to always have somebody we can just pick up a phone and say, hey, we had a question. Even if it's not motorcycle related, like poor Emery HVAC, he gets a call every once in a while and says, how in the heck do I do this? Or
I didn't have a positive on my thermostat. And I hadn't gone up in the I watched some videos, and they said you could move one wire and move it over to J wire or something. I don't remember what it was. And he said I wouldn't recommend that. I'd go up, and because all my wires were there, just three of them weren't connected. Then when I said I got a pretty new, the house is less than 20 years old, so I said it's got a new furnace up there. Well, what brand? I don't know. I've been up there in a while. So when I went up there, the circuit board was all there, and I just had to cut the wire and hook it to the positive terminal to get power. So then I just used the same wire down there. The black wire is hot. So the black wire ran. So that ran to my new thermostat. And then now we changed the alarm system. We turn the thermostat like right now, it's at 55 degrees.
We got a new alarm company.
Yeah, it's just alarm company. Trying to save money. We got rid of a lot of stuff like my editing. We're now using DaVinci. I got rid of Adobe Premiere because it was costing me $30 a month. The only thing I don't like right now about DaVinci is I can't my texts aren't as good. I can't figure out the drop shadows. And my son-in-law, when I talked to him, he says they're not as good as what Adobe is. Adobe, you can add all these After Effects, which DaVinci don't. So the text isn't as fancy as I'd like it to be, but it is what it is, and nobody's complaining, so I guess they're okay with it. So that we'll see y'all later. And so
no video tomorrow. No live.
No live tomorrow probably. Then I have one good video we want to put up on Mecum yet. And then we have this bike show that we just went to at Las Vegas Harley. Got a lot of really good. What's best about this is, what did we meet? People from Arizona. A lot of them. Yeah. Bike builders. We got a guy we met that's got over 100 motorcycles in his garage. And we're going to be visiting him. So we're thinking maybe after Arizona Bike Week, because we're only going to be about 100 miles away, he's got a full hookup at the side of his garage, and we may go down there. We just met a bike builder today that has got just wait till you see his bike. And he
does it all himself.
Wait till you see his rusted paint job he did. I'm going to take all that off. I'm not going to. He's
got his own technique.
He uses ketchup to make his rust on the look on his bike, and that's all I'm going to tell you.
It's a fiberglass pad.
Yeah, saddlebags.
Yeah.
And it looks like rust on it. And he's not using, a lot of them use Purex.
Yeah.
Hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah.
A lot of them use hydrogen peroxide on the metal to make that look. Well, this is plastic. So wait till you see this. It's going to blow your mind, but we're not going to give you his secret. He told me how he did it, and then I'm like, I'm not going to give you a secret, Mike. I turned the camera off.
That took him quite a few tries to get it to where he wanted it.
But he's about the only person that can make this look on plastic, and it was really cool. So we met him. He said, "Yeah, come by my shop, check it all out." And so we want to do that. And so we got a lot of really cool stuff we've got now for the off season. We got to maybe check out and see if we can find the Buffalo guy. It's got the buffaloes that go to movies. That's around Tucson area too, and that'd be kind of cool. See some buffaloes somewhere along there. In that part of the state where we're not at. We're on the west side.
We're in the northwest. And Tucson is the southeast.
There you go. So we're going to leave you finally. I'm going to stop talking.
All righty. We'll see you later.
What do you say?
Bye.
Everybody's talking now.
Jeff says a lot of tricks. Ketchup will rust off the chrome of wheels. Yeah, but this is on fiberglass.
But this isn't rust. It looks like rust.
It's an illusion. Apple cider vinegar. Nope. Anyway, we'll see you guys real soon.
Mel said something.
Hi, Janice.
Bye. We love y'all.